packed Capitol Rotunda ceremony. He said it's time to return to the values of kindness, respect, and civility.
We've become paralyzed by polarity, and we become content with division. We become indifferent to resentment and governing by retribution. We've gotten away from who we are and the values that make Wisconsin great, not Republican or Democratic values, but our Wisconsin values.
Evers' rise to governor ends 8 years of unfettered Republican dominance in Wisconsin. However, the state legislature remains under GOP control. And following the November elections, Wisconsin's Republicans pushed through a string of new laws aimed at limiting the governor's authority. A strong session on Wall Street today. The Dow closed up 98 points. The Nasdaq gained 84 points. You're listening to NPR.
Welcome into the Hey Techies show. And then there was two. How are you, Guru?
I'm a little low. I'm doing well.
I feel like I'm low too. I did not test my headphones before.
It's okay.
We came in and just started chit chatting.
Yeah, so we started out 2019. We're down a person.
Yeah, we're down a person.
You know,
oh wow, this is our first show of the year, is it not?
So gotta play something here.
Oh yeah. Mikey.
Yeah, where's Mikey?
I don't know, man. That's usually for me.
I know. I had to try to stop it without the Bruce part, but our chief techie is missing in action.
He's MIA. Are we going to find out where he is?
Well, hang on. We got a call, so
we do have a call.
Stall here for just a second while I get this caller pulled up.
Okay, so we have no clue where he's at. He's on location somewhere.
All right. Well, we got our caller ready.
Okay.
I cannot believe you didn't play that Greenie song in my.
Oh yeah, it's
going green.
There you go.
We're going green.
We're telecommuting, so you didn't have to drive, so we're going green.
Oh well, yeah.
That is going green for sure. Yeah, yeah.
We'll just start doing it all remote.
Well, guys, you don't know where I'm at.
No clue.
I'm in Vegas, baby.
Oh,
you're in Vegas.
Somebody had to go. I mean, CES.
I was saying, you at CES.
Somebody had to go to Vegas.
Did you get press passes?
Go ahead.
No, I only got passes for me. I'm sorry. That's all the Hey Techies credit card would
hold. I was going to say, you finally pulled out that Hey Techies credit card after all these years.
Yeah.
I begged and pleaded with you to send me to one of these things, and you just go on your own.
So
I'm so disappointed.
You wouldn't believe, Bruce. You would not believe. Did you know that here in Vegas, a Tesla has already ran over a robot?
Uh-oh.
BattleBots.
I'm not, yeah. I mean, a Tesla has already run over a robot. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hey, all we can say is old Muskie, he warned against this.
He did. He really did.
I think it's programmed in.
I think it's just bot envy.
Bot envy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, that's right. Well, how are you doing, Guru?
I'm doing well, Michael. We miss you here in studio, but we're glad you could check in with us because we were about to call out search party on you.
Yeah. And Bruce, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
You're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic as always.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yep. Glad you could miss our first show.
Yes, that's right.
Man.
Well, I'm trying out one of my Christmas presents tonight.
What's that?
Yeah, the Quiet Comfort 35 Bose headset.
Oh, nice!
It's about time.
Yeah. I'm the one with the inferior headsets. I have a QC15,
and I've got the 25s, and Mikey's got the 35s.
Well, it was.
That's usually backwards. Like Bruce, you should have the like top line stuff.
Yeah, gotta let these go down. I'll get the 45s. I'm thinking.
Okay. I'm gonna use these.
Or maybe
break.
you got to get the 45s and then I'll get the 55s.
I'm gonna let these break because they cost way too much money to replace.
I really like them. However, I have found that the Bluetooth does not work as far.
Oh,
it if I get more than 10, 15 feet sometimes away from the device, and any device, it cuts out. But other than that, they work excellent. And and it works off an app. Y'all probably already knew that, though.
Yeah.
Mine work off an app, and you can change the quiet part. How sensitive it is.
Oh, that's nice. See, mine has no app. I have no wireless or no. I just turn the switch on. And it's either works or don't work.
Can you allow just voice through?
Well, I think what you'd have to do that. Let's see. What is it set on now? This thing's going to be a little slow. Let's see here. It's on high. So if I did low, I could start hearing ambient noise outside of the headset.
Gotcha.
Or if I do off, I can really tell a huge difference.
How long of a charge do they get?
They appears to be really good. They appear to last a long time. I'm not sure about an hour amount, but I know right now when I turned them on, they were at 80%, and I used them for hours and hours on Saturday. Working in the house.
Yeah, drowning out the family. Didn't want to hear them.
Right. No, I was actually doing some house cleaning. Need a little spring cleaning in the winter.
Yeah.
And Saturday turned out to be a good day. So, but anyway, that's enough about that. But yeah, I really like them. I've been very, very, very pleased, very impressed. I was really grateful to get them. Been needing some new Bluetooth headphones, and these are all around very well that I can tell so far. Now, I haven't used them plugged up, so I don't know if there's any difference there. I haven't had an opportunity to do that, but probably next week I will.
Does it work with voice controls?
Yeah, actually, it has all of that.
Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
yeah, we'll have to see what they're like when they're plugged up in studio.
Yeah, did you guys get a few toys? Anything?
I gave some toys away. Both my nephews got Microsoft Surface Go devices from.
I know
for Christmas.
I saw they must have really liked them.
Yeah, they really enjoyed them, and one of them did not want to face the Windows Hello setup because I said we can set that up, and they're like, "No, I don't want it." And they was like, "Yes, I want that. That's so cool."
Wow,
everybody's a little different. That's okay.
Both of my kids got the, I guess the Amazon Fire tablets with the free time.
Okay.
Nice. And if you don't know what that is for our listeners, for children, they have, you can do all your parental controls through there. You can set age appropriate content. You can time how often they, the times of day that they can use it, how long they can use it.
Okay.
You can set goals. They have to read so many books before they
can
do entertainment stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And it comes with 1 year of free time. Is the service that it's called.
Okay.
1 year of it came with the tablets, and they come with a 2-year, like no questions asked, accidental damage replacement.
Oh, that's good, especially with small children.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't.
And the price point
they don't appreciate the taking care of devices, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah, when you got one about to be 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, the 6-year-old's going to take better care, but the 2-year-old has no clue.
Right.
But and that's so the free time is good for a year on each device.
So that's like a service, right?
Yeah, that's a service. Okay. And at the end of the year, I think it's like $89 a year
for a year. Well,
yeah, for a year, and that covers up to 4 children.
Oh, so it's not per device.
Yeah, it's up to 4 accounts. So it wasn't bad.
So you start dividing it out, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
of a deal.
It's not that bad. Yeah. And I had done ABC Mouse for my eldest when she was younger, and it was kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Trying to remember how much I paid for that. I don't remember, to be honest. But is pretty neat. Of course, she also got like a R2D2 robot that she got to put together, and it has a little board that you put all the other
Yeah.
boards on, and
That's cool.
microscope and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
cool toys.
Yeah, I think one of my nephews got one of those the new hoverboards that have got safe batteries.
Oh yeah.
You
More
know.
commercialized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little a little more built to higher standards in
Gotcha.
regard to the battery.
Yeah.
So yeah,
safe batteries.
good
huh?
Christmas had by all at my
Well,
household.
Oh,
Good. Y'all.
I will say this, Mikey.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see. I know you're watching this on video, but my wife found after Christmas a watch that was reduced significantly. It was on sale at
Oh.
a department store, and it is a hybrid smartwatch.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
a Skagen, I guess that's how it's
Okay.
pronounced. Traditional watch. I mean, I guess the price point of them are around $250, and she got it way cheaper than that. I'll tell you in person how much. But it doesn't have a screen on it. It's just a
Right.
traditional looking watch. It has some controls that you can do with it as far as your music. You can kind of set these buttons to do certain things. But it'll vibrate on your notifications, do alarms, track your sleep and your steps and stuff like that. It's a definitely more formal looking watch. So I wouldn't say it would be something you'd necessarily work out in. It doesn't have all those sensors, I guess, that most smartwatches
Right.
have, but it's a low tech, lower tech hybrid smartwatch. So, the price point on it, I was like, whatever, that's totally fine. I'll wear that.
Yep.
And it'll look better in formal occasions instead of having just a big screen on my wrist.
I like my screen. I like my Apple Watch.
I liked my Moto 362 and the Moto 360 that I had. Did
Yeah.
not like the Samsung watch that I had.
Yeah.
I definitely miss being able to just look real quick and see my notifications, but
That's a little more dressier.
yeah, this one's definitely more dressier. But I had originally bought now I can, I told y'all before, I bought my wife an Apple Watch.
Oh,
and
yeah. That's right.
had told her before the Christmas, I was like, look, I feel like I kind of need to let you know if, what I got you, just in case you want to get other things for it.
Mhm.
And
Right.
she was like, I'll be honest with you, I really don't want that.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was fine though. So I returned it for her and let her get what she wanted.
Okay. Well, everybody's happy then.
Yeah. So, but I would say if I had an iPhone, I would definitely have an Apple Watch. That just seems like they go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do, and I think Apple's done a really good job with the device.
And I would say Android has not got. I can't think of I have an Android phone. I have to have this accessory.
Now, we'll say this about Apple Watch. I know we're kind of running along here, and I know Mikey's getting back to CES, but with the Apple Watch, I don't use the apps that much. I use it more for notifications and fitness, and my watch face has my calendar on it, so I can say it's Hey Techies show right now from 7 to 9, and sunset, weather.
How long does your battery last?
I mean, I could push it and may get 2 days out of it, but I usually don't.
Yeah, that's about what I got on my Samsung watch.
So right now it's 65% charge, and I took it off charger this morning, so I could potentially get 2 days
to this time tomorrow, and then
it'd be in low power mode.
I hate to drag this out, but why would you want to? I mean, you're gonna be lost for like 2 days. You're close to a charger at least within 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I just don't see that being an issue.
Well, it'd be nice to track your sleep.
Yeah, but you can still do that.
You can put your phone in the bed with you. A lot of those apps do that, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, now my wife and my
I
daughter,
can track my sleep. I would wake up in the morning if I'm tired or not.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
They got let's see, Fitbit Versus. And they love them. They're talking about them, tracking their sleep, all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care about that kind of thing, but they've been telling me about it. It's pretty interesting.
Would they say it's pretty accurate?
It appears to be. Or I mean, I don't know how else would you know whether that's accurate or not?
Well,
you go to sleep.
Yeah, but I mean, they would say, you looking at the chart, you had this much deep sleep and this much,
right.
And they'd be like, well, I don't feel like I'm rested.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have
Well,
to take it at face value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect, mind you. So I don't know how scientific it is as far as perfect. But anyway, they seem to enjoy them, so I was glad about that.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
well,
And talk about low tech real quick, because this is a tech show. We'll talk about low tech. I got my mother for Christmas a German Black Forest cuckoo clock, which has
Yeah.
very little
Oh,
tech.
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the engineering that goes in that thing. It's one of these that has no. It's all pendulums and weights that keep it in time.
right.
It took a couple days to get it set, but I've got it pretty much probably within a minute or so being accurate. Keeping
Yeah.
time correctly, which is just amazing the quality of engineering that they do with those clocks. If you've never go research them. I mean, there's
guys.
all sorts of price ranges. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. Yeah, Michael.
I'm gonna have to run. So
All right.
They
well,
need you down in the press pit.
Yep.
I will talk to y'all later.
All right, Michael.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Well, we know with the new year, you definitely made probably some New Year's resolutions, and we'll have maybe a device when we come back.
Yeah, we got headlines too. We kind of
Yeah.
we'll have to push that into the next segment.
Yeah,
but
we will.
Michael's not here. We still got headlines though.
That's right. Stay tuned. Hey, Techies Show.
We're just getting started. Plenty more Hey Techies Show for your listening pleasure.
The skills you can develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers career training to take advantage of your skills in science, technology, engineering, and math that can help give you a leg up to a high-paying and rewarding STEM profession. Gain practical experience with emerging technology and equipment not found in the civilian world. The Army National Guard can get you started in an array of STEM-related career fields such as information technology, communication systems, special forces engineers, technical engineering, air traffic control, and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear science. Get a head start on your career in an exciting new field while earning money to pay for college, all while serving in your own community. Log on to NationalGuard.com or talk to a recruiter in your area to learn about all of the STEM career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
The 375,000 acres that make up the 3 ranger districts of Talladega National Forest were purchased by the federal government in 1936 as part of an effort to restore clear-cut timberlands and farmlands no longer capable of producing crops. The beautiful reserve includes the 102-mile Pinhoti National Trail System and Alabama's highest and second highest points, Mount Cheaha and Duggar Mountain.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission.
When a
ADA,
child
and
plays
this
with
station.
blocks, the skills of a future engineer, rocket scientist, contractor, and architect are developing. A child on the playground is practicing.
Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show.
Where we're partying like it's 2019.
Yeah, 2019. And, we were talking about Christmas earlier. Amazon recently announced a record-breaking holiday season. According to Amazon, tens of millions of people signed up for free trials or paid memberships of Amazon Prime. The company also said it sold millions more of its own devices like the Echo Dot and the Fire Stick 4K compared with last year. They also sold a record number of home devices, including the Amazon Smart Plug, Ring Video Doorbell 2, and the iRobot Roomba 690. These record sales could help them exceed what was expected to be a stagnant to minimal growth in operating income compared with the same time last year.
Or how about this? A New Year's message on Twitter by Huawei has caught some attention. The post from the Huawei Twitter account was made on an iPhone rather than a Huawei device, as Twitter denoted the post as via Twitter for iPhone. The tweet was quickly deleted, but a screenshot of the tweet went viral. Huawei's leadership signed a memo on January 3rd announcing punishments for the employees involved. According to the memo, the tweet caused damage to the Huawei brand, end quote. The memo also stated that the iPhone was used to send the tweet after a desktop computer malfunctioned.
And that's not the first time that's happened with an Android company. Seems untrustworthy.
Anyway.
And speaking of which, Facebook is voted the least trustworthy tech company. Surprise, surprise. Consumer research company Toluna surveyed 1,000 people. Now, keep in mind, this is only 1,000 people in December to discover which tech companies they distrust the most with their information. Topping the list was Facebook, which took 40% of the vote. Both Twitter and Amazon were tied for second with 8% each. Rounding out the top 5 were Uber, Google, and Lyft.
Did you hear about this? Apple recently published a letter from CEO Tim Cook to investors announcing changes to guidance for the first quarter of fiscal year 2019, which ended on December 29th. Apple is now expecting revenue of approximately $84 billion and gross margin of 38%. This is quite a bit lower than the estimate provided in November that stated expected revenue of 89 to 93 billion. So that's several billion less. And gross margin between 38 and 38.5%. Several explanations for the decline were included in the letter. Some of these were related to significant sales declines in China, consumers taking advantage of the $29 iPhone battery replacement, and constrained supply of Apple Watch Series 4, iPad Pro, MacBook Air, and AirPods. Apple stock took a hit the following day of trading, closing down nearly 10%. And those are the headlines. And we pulled it off without Michael this week. Yeah,
we sure did. And this, I guess that's my first time doing the headlines. I normally just let y'all take care of it. No.
Yeah, you were. But during the break, I thought we're going to do these headlines. You're like, what's that?
What headlines? Things we've been doing for a while.
But this whole Apple thing, that's just it's been all over the news. Unless you've been living in a rock the last week and a half.
Yeah,
I mean,
whether you follow tech or not, it's been. But we're going to get to that.
Oh, you want to?
Because I want to do one other story first.
Sure,
since it is the new year, and most people, I would say, probably. I have no data to back this up, but if I had to guess, what most people said their New Year resolution would be, most people probably say to lose some weight.
Yeah, it's usually a top resolution.
I would say it is a top one, if not the top one. Well, an implant for weight loss powered by the stomach may help.
Oh.
With the implant, a group of lab rats met their weight loss goals in just 100 days. So engineers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison described a device to aid weight loss that is less invasive than surgery and potentially more effective than diets and exercise regimens, which most people struggle to stick with. So this is a nickel-sized implant, only 1 millimeter thick, and attaches to the outside of the stomach and uses power generated by the stomach movements to subdue feelings of hunger.
Oh, okay.
Rats with the implant shed 38% of their body weight.
Wow.
In just 100 days.
That's significant.
Meanwhile, rats in control groups, which either did not receive the implant or had a sham implant, did not lose any weight.
Okay.
So, not sure where you would go to get that or how much it would cost.
That's very interesting. I mean, it's probably not been approved for humans yet. It's just a test.
I don't know. There's been some that
it'd be like FDA approval if you were in the States.
Yeah, there's been some FDA approved. I'd read this story and I totally forgot about it, so I was Googling it real quick. So who knows what kind of advertisements because I did not do that in incognito mode. I'm probably going to get tons of advertisements now on weight loss. Apparently, like a couple years ago, they had some that were approved.
Okay. Oh.
And not like this, but other ones that were implants that allowed you to, whenever you immediately digested food, to bypass everything. Well, I guess it wouldn't be fully digested. Once it hit your stomach, you could empty the contents out through this basically hole that they put in you, and they put this device, and you just
Oh,
plug the thing in, and it drained it out there. And
okay.
I'll have to do some
Little-
more
little-
research
little
on that.
TMI there,
it
but
was
I mean,
there was
but-
a group of doctors that were ready to sue the FDA because they're like, why are you approving this? This is stupid. People already have eating disorders, and this is only going to help that.
Yeah.
So I think this would be a much more
It curbs your appetite.
yes, it curbs it, or suppresses it.
Yeah, and it's probably less invasive than some of the traditional ways where they have like the gastric bypass. They make your base your stomach smaller,
Yeah.
and they some sort of like a lap band I've heard of where they kind of
they just
make it. They can compress it, I guess, make it tight, make it rotate up less space.
yeah.
But this is actually telling your body like, hey, I'm full.
Yeah.
When you're so you'll consume less, because usually if you can just take less in,
I mean,
that makes
that's
a
what it is.
significant
That's exactly what
difference.
it is.
And I'm not doing a good job because I got a nice little.
Yeah.
It's harder to get off, kids, when you get older. So get it off when you're young. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely keep a schedule of regular exercise.
Yes.
And
don't eat late.
Yeah, don't eat late, and don't eat junk.
Yeah, don't eat Reese cups at 20 minutes before the show starts either.
Yeah.
I was hungry.
Well,
Sorry.
you gotta have some things that you treat yourself, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I did share my Reese cups
did?
with Bruce, so I didn't eat them
No.
all. So I only ate half.
Yeah, and I ate the other half. So.
That's right.
And
sharing is caring.
Yep. And my 7 o'clock ended, so nothing after 7.
Nothing after 7. So you're gonna turn in like the Gremlin, or like from the Gremlins movie, like you can't eat or drink after
maybe.
7 p.m.
We'll see how angry I get.
You're gonna turn into like whatever. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. But speaking of a throwback, I'm gonna mention this. I don't have a link to talk about this. We'll talk about it real quick before we get into the Apple stuff, because that could consume the rest of the hour.
Yeah,
I shared this with you and Mikey earlier today. It was this morning. There's a new ad Walmart's come out with. It's talking about their online grocery pickup, which we talked about
yesterday.
Was it yesterday I sent it to you?
Yeah, because I watched it last night.
Okay, I couldn't
and then
remember.
I replied. Nobody ever.
But we talked about online grocery pickup at Walmart. That's something, and they're expanding it. There are more stores are getting it, and now they've got this nationwide ad campaign that they've just released. They put the videos on their YouTube channel yesterday, so you can go out there and look at them. But they did a really good job. It's kind of talking about you can get grocery pickup no matter what kind of vehicle you're driving, and it's like featuring
all the famous vehicles,
like the Batmobile, the Ghostbusters car, that vehicle from Ghostbusters, the Mystery Machine from Scooby Doo, one of the SUVs from Jurassic Park,
Knight Rider,
the Kit 2000 from Knight Rider, the big, was it from Dumb and Dumber, the Mutt Cuts?
Oh yeah, man.
It had Lightning McQueen in there. It had, I'm trying to think the other ones.
Did it have Speed Racer?
No, it didn't have Speed Racer. Not
Man, that would have been a good one.
It was.
That
but then towards the end,
too hard to,
but they even laid a pumpkin down. It turned into Cinderella's.
Yeah. I want to know how they got all the licensing for that.
That cost some money. But then at the two things at the end I liked was when the DeLorean from Back to the Future kind of came in and landed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
And then at the end, all of them started leaving. And I'm a bit of a Walmart nerd. I know a little bit of history about the company. At the very end of the movie or the ad, you see a red truck a red and white pickup truck, an older model.
Yep.
That was the pickup truck that Sam Walton was driving when he died in the 90s. It was like a 1979 F-150.
Yep.
When the richest man in America at the time, he drove a old pickup truck.
Yeah.
And kind of a backstory to that, he was asked one time, "Why do you drive a pickup truck? You're the richest man in the world. You can have anything you want." Said, "Well, I can't carry my coon dogs in a Rolls Royce."
I mean, I guess good.
I mean,
they could probably have their own Rolls Royce.
But anyway, that was a really good ad. I think Walmart did a spectacular job. But like you said, the licensing from all those companies to be able to use all those elements, that cost a pretty penny. But it shows they're going all in with this grocery pickup. Like they're investing in some marketing to try to get the word out even more, which I'm a fan of it. I've said that many times on the show. It saves me so much time.
I will say I know I've talked about a few times on the show. Me testing out Walmart Pay.
Yeah,
kind of going all in with that and seeing, because my local store I can't do the curbside pickup.
Right. Well, I think they're slowly getting there with all of them.
Yeah, and they send me surveys all the time, and I'm the type of person that I will give critical feedback. And a lot of the questions have been, have you heard about this?
Yeah.
What are your concerns with it? My biggest concerns is, I think what anybody's concern is time, the amount of slots available during the time that I would normally want to
Yeah.
go pick up groceries. So availability. And then, them picking the same produce or the same products that I would.
Yeah.
Those are my concerns. I've, as far as feedback on Walmart Pay, I've had a few times that it didn't work. It just did not work.
Yeah, I'm just not completely sold. They need to adopt standards, and that's not a standard in my opinion.
I would say the times that it has worked, it works flawlessly. It's just I scan it and it says you're connected. I trust that it's all secured, that what they're doing is what it needs. All that makes sense to me. Like that works.
Yeah.
And we talked about, maybe the tap to pay, at least this way, it gives it to people that don't have NFC in their phone. It expands it out to more people being able to do that. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
And also too, honestly, I'm fine with it too, because it probably saves them money on the transaction cost because they're not having to pay another party.
Well, but
if they get it to work, because the thing is, if I didn't have my wallet, the couple times that it happened, I would not. I would have been like, "Well, I'm sorry."
But still,
like, Walmart Pay's got to work.
Still, they're still processing it like they've got your card information stored.
Yeah.
So that's just a means of them authenticating that this is you.
Yeah.
And use this card.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure on the back
So
end,
it's not.
I would think on the back end they probably have their own processing center.
I think Walmart's tried to start a bank where they could do their own processing. And that's gotten shut down.
They
by the feds.
Oh, really?
I remember it's probably been 5 or 6
Well,
years
I know
ago.
they got their
tried
own bank. It's that Evergreen or something.
Well, maybe they did, but at one time they got shut down from starting a bank. They were wanting to start a bank so they could do their own card processing.
Is there not still a branch in
those
one
are
of the local stores?
Wood Forest.
Wood Forest.
They're just leasing it out. It's not a Walmart. Walmart don't own
Oh, is
that.
it not?
No,
I thought Walmart owned those.
No.
But another thing with the whole savings catcher.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
They pick and choose what they're going to give you.
Yeah, that savings catcher is really just kind of it's jumped the shark bad.
I do not trust savings catcher one bit.
I
will give you a perfect example. I will give you a perfect example. And I've not called. I just haven't had the time because so say if there is something that hey, I should have gotten money back on this. You go in the app and it says go to walmart.com to report what the product is.
Yeah.
Well, when you do that, there's nowhere to find to say, hey, I should have gotten money back on this product. So you go through all of it and eventually it goes down to, oh, well, you got to call 1-800-Walmart. And I was like, are you kidding me? And you've got to call within 7 days. And
they're hoping that you won't call.
They're making it difficult for you. And the next time I go grocery shopping, I'm going to make sure that I put this on there. It's going to cost me some money, but I'm going to do it just so I can do it. Because right now, if you go into Walmart here in Jacksonville, I want to say milk is like $3.19.
Okay.
In Oxford, it is 98 cents a gallon.
Yes.
Because
I've heard
because
that before.
Aldi's in Oxford is 98 cents a gallon.
They're trying to be competitive.
They're trying to be competitive.
Yeah, I get it.
So I have bought recently. I'm past the 7 days to be able to call them and say, hey, look, you owe me money on this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it again, do it all according to their things. And if they say we're not giving you money back on that, then we're going to have issues. And I'll just say, well, I'm never going to shop there again. But what I'm saying is
shopping at Amazon.
Yeah. I would be more apt to. I'm like, if you're going to lie to me.
Well, and this is my experience, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus here, but they've got some lessons to learn for customer service.
Well, I'm going to be curious.
And I'll put Amazon up there at the top. Their customer service is spot on. I mean, there's like a 0.1% of the time you get a bad experience, but that's like out of all the time I've had to contact them with questions or concerns, it's like one time ever.
Yeah.
But most time it's like, we apologize, we're going to take care of you.
Yeah. You know, my mom recently had an experience that did not sound right to me. She had ordered some stuff for Christmas.
Yeah.
And she got completely wrong products.
Oh, what, Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And but it was like it was a Prime, but filled through somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, just not even like one of them was like a book on tennis or something.
Oh,
and that's not nowhere near
it's
what
like that.
you ordered.
It's like that box was meant for someone else.
Yeah.
Like it was labeled wrong.
They said, well, we need you to ship this back, and we'll put in a request for you to get the to get the cost to ship it back. I was like, that makes no sense. I was like, they will absolutely refund you. And she said, well, if because they're still sending her correct product. She's like, well, if they're not refunding me that, I'm not sending this stuff back. And I said, well, no, they will refund it to you, I promise. So I'm not sure who she talked to or what the deal was. That's the only.
That's one-offs.
Yeah, that is. I would say that's a one-off because I've even had a product where it even said that they had lost the package. They said this package is lost.
Yeah,
because I mean it was a week past due when it was supposed to come. Because I thought, well, maybe.
Right.
So I want to say maybe around that time there was some bad weather or something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it's probably delayed because of the weather.
And I figured the delay, like I was, it wasn't something I needed right then anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I called Amazon and said, hey, look, I'm, it even in the thing it says to contact y'all because it's lost.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, not a problem. We'll have another one to you in 2 days. Of course, at that time, I don't know if you get somebody stateside during the day, during business hours, but this was I think on a weekend or an evening. And they said, we're gonna send it to you, not charge you. And I said, well, of course you're not charging me. I've not gotten the product. And they said, well, we're going to give you the 2-day shipping for free. And I said,
of course you are.
Of course you are, because I'm Prime and this is a Prime product.
Yes.
It was not a person that was stateside and they're following the script. And I'm like, don't say those things because I've already paid for those things.
Right.
Don't act like you're doing me a favor.
Yeah.
Like
this is my expectation.
Yeah.
You're meeting expectations at this point.
Yes. Exactly. You're meeting it. So I got my product. Well, I noticed, so the day before it was supposed to come, I got an alert from, I think it was UPS saying your product's delivered. And I was like, well, I wasn't expecting that till tomorrow. And I checked my shipping. It was like arriving tomorrow. And I was like,
so the one that was delayed or lost actually showed
up. Well, and I called him back and I said, hey, I've got 2 of these products now. I said, y'all shipped one, and the one that I was supposed to get finally showed up.
Yeah.
And they said, just keep it.
Okay.
And I was like, well, and it was some paint is what it was.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh yeah. And I was like, well, it's not opened.
it was going to be more trouble and more time and money for them to get it back to them. Then just
keep the product.
Just keep it. You're good.
So, and I've still got it, and I'm about to refinish a sink with it. So
there you go.
It's one of those. I was doing some tile, and it was a shower. And, it's the porcelain type refinish and touch up stuff.
Yeah.
I can't even remember how much it was, but I was like, it's stuff like that. Like that was just super easy. I was like, hey, I don't have my product. And they're like,
but most of the time, they're on point. They exceed expectations.
Yeah.
They, and that's kind of the benchmark that everybody's is expected to be at. And if you're not, it's like you're deficient severely.
Yeah.
And I think as a society now, we expect that.
Yeah, I will
not just because it's Amazon, just because of.
Well, I would say like it's an Amazon effect because if
it is an Amazon effect, but I think we're in a world with instant gratification. I can remember even 10 years ago when you would order something, e-commerce, you wouldn't even get a tracking number unless you explicitly requested it.
Yeah,
you have to say,
show up whenever it showed up.
Would you please? Can you please? You have to. You have to like get with their customer. Hey, can you send me the tracking number for that?
I felt like years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, Newegg was really good at that. Like they were kind of on the forefront of that. They did a really good job with that. They kept track of all your stuff. Now, the only thing that I didn't like is if you got a product in that was bad or, didn't fit or something like that, you had to pay to ship it back.
Yeah.
And with the majority of Amazon stuff, if you're buying Prime, and I will pay $1 or $2 extra for a product.
Yeah,
through Prime, just so in the event that I need to send it back, I don't have to pay for shipping.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I've been taking advantage of. This is competing against Amazon, but Walmart, they offer free 2-day shipping if you spend $35.
Yes, which is well,
and you don't have to have no membership.
yeah,
You just if you spend $35 with them,
they'll ship it for free.
Ship it for free 2 days.
2 days.
Sometimes I get in 1 day because they have a
they
distribution center
do.
in Georgia.
Yep, they do. And you know, it really depends. But that's my thing. It's well, the thing with Walmart, if you do get it in, it is really easy to just go to the store and return it, and it didn't cost you any money.
True.
But I will specifically spend extra time looking for a product on Amazon and buying it through Amazon instead of through, you know, some online retailer that if this doesn't work, I've got to pay to send it back.
Right. Exactly.
If they take it back.
But it's almost we've got it ingrained in our minds to check Amazon first, and if we find it, we pull the trigger, buy it, and we're done.
Yeah, and it may be, and I've looked, and sometimes it is a couple dollars extra.
And I'm trying to put a bow in this so we can go to break. But
yeah,
so no, you're fine. This is a good way to tie it back together.
Yeah.
Is Walmart now they're going all in with e-commerce. They kind of got behind, and they're trying to go all in to try to make up with online pickup, $35 2-day shipping, no membership, that type of thing. They're going all in.
Yeah.
They still got some lessons to learn, I think, from a customer service perspective, and I think they'll get there because, like, I can't. If Walmart fails, what's going to be left?
Yeah, that's true.
Because
I mean, there needs to be some competition. There absolutely has
and competition is good for business.
It is.
It makes everybody better. So there you go. There's your little tie bow in it.
They just got to get their pricing structure fixed. Just like, I mean, from here to Oxford,
exactly
$3 difference on milk. It's crazy. Stay with us. Hey, Techies Show.
Don't go anywhere. There's more in the queue lined up just for
Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show, where we're one man down.
Yeah, we feel like zeros tonight.
He is
That's
at
like
the
that song, but he's checking out CES for us, so he'll have a full report next week for us.
well. If you're watching a game rather than listening to us, score's close right now.
Oh, 0-0,
No,
7-7,
no,
3-3,
no.
14-14.
I'm waiting for an update, but yeah, it's 14-13 right now.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're getting ready to kick a field goal. Is that or they missed it?
Okay.
So,
but we've got the best listeners in the world listening tonight because they are the hardcore tech folks in their family because they would rather listen to us or watch us instead of the national championship football game. So if you're listening to this later, this is the night of the 2019 national championship football game where University of Alabama and Clemson are playing.
Yep, number 1 and 2.
And we're right here in Northeast Alabama, so we have a lot of Alabama Crimson Tide fans.
And we have a lot of fans, or people that are going to be Clemson fans tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
I actually had a buddy call me before the show, and he's like, "Hey, we watching the game at your house?" I was like, "Well, no, I got a show." And I was like, "Were you going to come root for Alabama?" He's like, "No, I was going to come root for Clemson."
It's like, you're not welcome.
We'd watch it together. But I will say I'm a good fan because if Auburn were playing, I want to see Miss State win.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I want to see little brother, take the win.
I want to kick off the Apple stuff to the next hour.
Yeah, because we could talk.
We've got like 10 minutes till we have to go to break here for NPR.
We would have a lot to talk about there. So I will say this.
Okay.
I think you've recently got or you need new desktop monitors, or you've recently purchased some.
I purchased a new one about a year ago.
Okay.
I'm in the market to buy a new Mac, but I'm holding out because I got to continue putting back some cash.
So I have been in the market, I will say, for new monitors for quite some time. They're good. I mean, they're 1080, 24 inch.
Let me tell you about my monitor.
Okay.
I have a single monitor at the house. So I have my MacBook Air plugged into. I think I probably said this on the show. It's like a 32-inch monoprice brand 4K display.
And
it's nice. I paid like $300 for it.
See, though, I mean, 4K is still kind of expensive.
Oh, I know
for computer monitors.
But I wanted a single monitor. I didn't want like dual displays. Curve would have been nice, but I didn't want to pay for the curve. But it's
those ultra wides are really nice.
They are. But
they're, I don't know if they make a 4K one yet. That's the ultra wide, that's 50 inches.
Right.
Or whatever.
But for what I need, it suits the purpose.
Yeah.
Because before that, I had a 27-inch iMac that I sold to Gazelle.
Yeah.
So I wanted at least that much, if not a little larger, because I didn't want to lose screen real estate. Because that 27-inch iMac, I could put two browser windows side by side. If I was like,
whatever, split it up.
I could split the screen up and have two different things, left and right, or top, bottom, or what. I had plenty of screen real estate. So, I started looking. I was like, I went to Monoprice. Like, it had good reviews too, because you think it's not like your name brand.
Yeah.
But I've been very, very pleased. I've had that thing about a year.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got it. Not that I've experienced. I mean, somebody else may have, but I'm quite pleased.
I've looked at those ultra wide curved, and I think the lowest I've seen it for is the Samsung one. Went down for a little bit for about $750.
Yeah.
And I would say it's the equivalent of 3 monitors, which I have. I have 3 24-inch monitors. And they're 1080p, but I've been wanting some 4K.
Yeah.
Just haven't pulled the plug on them yet, because that would be expensive. I mean, we'd be looking at $1,500 at least, or around there.
Yeah.
To replace that.
Yeah, that one I've got is selling today for $399. I must have got it on sale.
Yeah. So and the next thing too, I was like, well, OLEDs panel production's increasing. Maybe I should just see if I can hold out a little longer.
Yeah.
For that. Well, Dell introduced one last year. Actually, maybe even in 2017, they had it. And Asus showed one last year at CES. And right now they show coming soon. So we don't even have a price point for them yet. But they're only like well, they're 21.6, but we'll call them 22 inches, and then they have a 27-inch variant. But we don't have any clue how much they're going to cost. I'm sure they're not going to be cheap. But it would definitely be, if I was going to buy one, and the price point was around the same as like just a regular LCD 4K versus OLED, I'd go with that.
Yeah.
But of course, they're probably going to be a lot thinner, a lot less heat, lighter weight, So,
but speaking of monopros, they sell a curved monitor. They have a 49-inch.
Yeah.
They're calling a 0G curved gaming monitor, DFHD.
So it's probably exactly like
32:9 aspect ratio, 144 hertz, display HDR 400 compatible, $899.
So yeah, it's around.
It's not ballpark.
Yeah, and I will say this: the Samsung one is cheaper than the Dell one. That Dell
really?
Last time I checked.
Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah. And Dell actually, one thing Dell surprisingly is known for is their displays. They actually make really good displays.
Yeah, I like the traditional flat, like ultra sharps.
Yeah,
those are really good.
But so if you're in the market, or you're trying to figure out whether you should hold out, maybe hold out a little bit longer and see if
and
see
here's
how
the
these
thing,
LEDs do.
CES is this week, and the stuff some of the stuff at CES is very new. I mean, not even announced, but if you wait a few months, some of that stuff will go to market.
Yeah.
And it'll roll the prices down. It's just like we talk about iPhones coming out. That previous iteration drops in price. So yeah,
we'll talk about more of that soon.
So if you can hold out a few months, that would definitely be what I would do if it was me.
I like my monitors now. One, they are heavy and they produce a lot of heat, and that's really why I want to replace them, because other than that, nothing's wrong with them.
Yeah, I mean,
and in fact, I have my brightness turned down really low because they're really bright. Like I think I'm turned down to like 25% right now.
Wow.
Because they're just that bright. But they're good monitors. And, at some point we had to pull the trigger. So just trying to decide whether I should wait, see when they do OLEDs, or if, because I really do want it to be 4K. Like I almost did the curve, but they're only 2K. And I'm like,
yeah, well, the thing in my case, like, my MacBook Air, it's a couple years old. It supports that 4K.
Yeah.
I made sure it supported the resolution before I bought it, because I wanted to natively display. And it does great. I mean, but the text is so small.
Yeah.
It's like it's a strain on my eyes, and I don't want to get myself into so I just bumped the text size up just ever so slightly.
There's settings in there
you can scale it. So
on both Windows and Mac.
Oh yeah, both.
Easily scale.
But if you run it at normal text size,
you're like,
it's even like my monitor at work is a high resolution monitor. I have to bump the text size up in Windows because it's just too. I don't want to strain my eyes.
Yeah,
and somebody, you getting old? Well, maybe I am. We get old every second. We live,
that's true.
But real quick here, we got about 4 minutes. We'll give a little space exploration stuff.
Yeah.
So I think SpaceX is scheduled to launch within the next couple of days. An Iridium satellite. It's actually tomorrow. I thought that was going to change. But anyway, no, but we'll put this in the show notes from NBC News. Mark your calendars, 2019 space flight events you don't want to miss. It's a whole list. I'm just going to cover a few of the highlights here. So China, and this actually has already happened, but December 7th, China launched a probe, the change with an apostrophe E4 spacecraft. It went to the moon, the far side of the moon. And I think it actually landed already. So then this article came out right before Christmas. And this is, but that's already happened. But SpaceX is going to this year take humans on their Dragon spacecraft to the space station for the first time. They've been doing cargo missions.
Yeah.
And here sometime, I think in January, they're scheduled January 17th, the first like test launch. It won't have a crew, but they're actually going to launch one of the crew rated Dragons to the space station. It'll actually go to the space station, dock, and stay a little while, and then it'll come back. Like simulate a mission without having people on board. But they'll still be.
I bet you that's going to be a stressful time when those people get on that. I can't imagine, because it's like, hey, we've done this 1,000 times now with things that didn't matter ultimately.
Yeah, because I mean, it's important, but it's just it's material possession.
Yeah, it's stuff. It can be replaced. It's money.
you know,
It'd be
if
tough,
all this goes well, SpaceX and their Dragon spacecraft later this year will actually take the first crew to the space station, which will be, first of all, the first commercial company to launch astronauts to space.
Yeah.
To the space station, actually to orbit.
Yeah.
You know, some have went to space because once you reach that the Kármán line, where it's like 200 miles or whatever, that's considered space. But this is actually to orbit, which takes more.
Yeah.
First commercial company to launch people into orbit to the space station. These are, you know, U.S. astronauts.
Yeah.
And it's the first time we've launched astronauts from U.S. soil. You got to think about it. The last time astronauts left from the United States was on the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Which was retired in like 2011. So I mean, a lot of firsts, but then like we're actually bringing human spaceflight back to the States, and it looks like SpaceX will be the first one to do it. But there's also a competitor. So you got Boeing.
Yeah,
they're doing the Starliner, CST-100 Starliner, and they're a few months behind. They're supposed to take their maiden flight in March of this year. They're actually going to take a ride aboard an Atlas V rocket, which the Atlas V is a very reliable rocket. A lot of satellites have been launched on Atlas Vs, where SpaceX is full vertical integration. They've built the rocket and the spacecraft and everything.
Yeah.
Boeing built the spacecraft, but they're taking a ride on another rocket.
It's like somebody's already got this perfected.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, Boeing's in this business too. They're going to, you know, for the commercial crew, they're doing some of those missions as well.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. And then Falcon Heavy will be back this year. You know, they had their first launch about, it was February, March of last year. They actually launched the Tesla Roadster on an orbit that went past Mars.
Yeah, where is it right now? Do you know?
There's a website. It's like Where's the Roadster or something. I can't remember the exact URL, but that time went by quick, like 20 seconds.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, that's coming up in February. The SpaceX Falcon Heavy launch. They're actually going to launch a satellite for the U.S. military. So there's much more. Just check out the link in the show notes. I mean, I just got to like March, so there's tons of stuff this year in space exploration.
Well, stay with us. Coming up is our
dose.
Yeah, that's the first time I got to do it that way.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it weird?
It is strange. Stay with us. Hey, Techie Show.
News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. Vice President Pence says President Trump is holding firm on his demand for $5.7 billion in funding for his wall along the southern border. As NPR's Tamara Keith explains, it comes as the partial government shutdown drags on and federal workers will soon begin missing paychecks.
Briefing reporters in his ceremonial office, Vice President Pence tried to make a case that there's a humanitarian and security crisis along the southern border. He said President Trump is not going to reopen the federal government until there's an agreement with Congress to fund construction of a border wall. What has shifted slightly is the president's definition of a wall. The White House position now is that steel slats would be fine, no concrete necessary. Democrats haven't been swayed by this shift in proposed building materials and say the government should be reopened immediately, with negotiations over wall funding and other immigration law changes to follow. Tamara Keith, NPR News, the White House.
Democratic members of the House and Senate today toured the Customs and Border Patrol facility where an 8-year-old migrant boy died in custody last month. Lawmakers looking for ways to improve CBP infrastructure. Following the tour, Congressman Jerry Nadler was asked by the press about President Trump's address to the nation tomorrow night, about the fact the president has floated the idea of declaring a national emergency to get funding for his border wall.
We would certainly oppose any attempt by the president to make himself a king and a tyrant by saying that he can appropriate money without Congress. That is perhaps the most dangerous thing he is talking about since he became president.
President Trump is slated to travel to the southern border later this week. Prescription drug prices have been rising for years, but a new study concludes those costs don't necessarily mean people are getting new and better therapies. Here's NPR's Allison Kojak.
The study shows that the cost of brand name oral medications, or pills, has risen more than 9% a year since 2008. That additional money, however, isn't paying for better medications, the researchers say. Instead, the bulk of the money is covering price increases on drugs that have been on the market for many years. There was some innovation to justify the cost increases in the so-called specialty drug sector, which is dominated by high-priced medications. The researchers found that those new therapies, especially for hepatitis C, were the main force behind rising spending in that area. The study was done by researchers at the University of Pittsburgh and published in the journal Health Affairs. Allison Kojak, NPR News.
Apparently, the MasterCard logo will no longer include the word MasterCard as the company joins a growing number of brands like Nike, Apple, and Target that rely on an image and not a name in most of their marketing materials. In the future, the interlocking red and yellow circles will denote the brand. On Wall Street today, the Dow was up 98 points. The NASDAQ rose 84 points. This is NPR.
Welcome back in to the Hey Techie Show. Our
dose.
That probably feels a little better if you say the dose part. And so
this second hour, I'm assuming we're going to talk a little bit about Apple.
Yeah, but let's talk about the headlines first, which one of them is Apple. But in case you just joined us, our chief techie Michael is not with us. He did call in first to last hour. He's at Vegas at CES this week, checking out what's going on.
Got his press pass.
That's right. He couldn't get one for all of us.
The Hey Techie Show carries a lot of. Well, somebody had to be here to man the ship.
That's right, and we don't have we don't have infinite budget either.
Yeah,
so.
They tried to give us 3 press passes, but we said, well, let's pass this out to other people. We'll only take one.
Okay, that way it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, but Michael will be back next week with a full report of CES. So we'll just kind of turn the floor over to him in the first part. He can just talk about it. So hope he's taking good notes.
I'm sure he is. Well, this is our first show of the year, so we're coming back from the holiday break. And Amazon recently announced a record-breaking holiday season. According to Amazon, tens of millions of people signed up for free trials or paid memberships of Amazon Prime. The company also said it sold millions more of its own devices like the Echo Dot and Fire Stick 4K compared with last year. They also sold a record number of home devices, including the Amazon Smart Plug, Ring Video Doorbell 2, and the iRobot Roomba 690. These record sales could help them exceed what was expected to be a stagnant to minimal growth in operating income compared with the same time last year.
And we also had a New Year's message on Twitter by cell phone manufacturer Huawei that caught some attention. The post from the Huawei Twitter account was made from an iPhone rather than from a Huawei device, as Twitter denoted the post as via Twitter for iPhone. The tweet was quickly deleted, but a screenshot of the tweet went viral. Huawei's leadership sent out a memo on January 3rd announcing punishments for the employees involved. And according to the memo, the tweet, quote, caused damage to the Huawei brand, end quote. The memo also stated that the iPhone was used to send the tweet after a desktop computer malfunctioned.
And that's a Chinese national company, so I'm assuming that punishment means no food.
It went into the details, but we kept it short on the headlines. We'll have the link to the article.
I will say, that's definitely a company to not trust. However, consumer research company Toluna surveyed 1,000 people. Again, it's only 1,000, not necessarily scientific. It's a good bit of people.
It's a statistic random sample.
Yeah. People in December to discover which tech companies they distrust the most with their information. Topping the list was Facebook, which took 40% of the vote. 40% of people
distrust
Facebook
yeah,
the most.
With their information.
And that feels like that should be higher.
Well, based on those 1,000 people. But go ahead.
Based on those
1,000 what was the rest of the list?
Both Twitter and Amazon were tied for second with 8% each. Rounding out the top 5 are Uber, Google, and Lyft.
And Apple recently published a letter from Apple CEO Tim Cook to investors announcing changes to guidance for the first quarter of fiscal year 2019, which ended on December the 29th. Apple is now expecting revenue of approximately $84 billion and gross margin of 38%. This is quite a bit lower than the estimate provided in November that stated expected revenue of $89 to $93 billion and gross margin of between 38 and 38.5%. Several explanations for the decline was included in the letter. Some of these were related to significant sales declines in China, consumers taking advantage of the $29 iPhone battery replacements, and constrained supply of the Apple Watch Series 4, iPad Pro, MacBook Air, and AirPods. The day after this came out, Apple stock traded down nearly 10%. The first day. I'm not sure where it's at today,
That
but
perceived value. Well,
but
they
you
lost billions of dollars.
Well, yeah, I think that day it sold off at, we talked a couple months ago about Apple being first trillion dollar company. Yeah. I think after that day they were around 600 billion in market cap. So not saying they lost all in one day, but over time.
Yeah, over time.
But there was a
quick time they did.
But they lost a lot of value one day. If you lost 10% of your value, that's a lot of value to lose. And there's a lot of folks out there. I've got a bunch of articles where people are saying, well, it's because of this and it's because of that. They're trying to read between the lines of this letter from Tim Cook. So I was going to kind of I'm not going to read the whole letter, but I was going to kind of skim through here, and then maybe we can kind of bounce some ideas off between us two about what we think, since everybody else is kind of talking about what they think. In Apple, Tim goes on to talk about expecting the 84 billion in revenue, gross margin, like I said in the headlines. They're talking about diluted earnings per share to be approximately 4.7 billion. So after everything's paid for, 4.7 billion earnings per share diluted. So that's among all shareholders. Excuse me. And going into the reasons why this happened, why they think this happened, is the timing of the iPhone launches affects some year-to-year comparisons, which they don't really talk about year-to-year, but they mention this year-to-year comparison. The iPhone XS, XS Max, it actually shipped in quarter 4 of 18. You said quarter 4 in their fiscal year, how their fiscal year rolls. So it shipped at the end of their prior fiscal year. And if you go back a year prior, the iPhone X actually shipped in the first quarter of the same fiscal year. So it's kind of hard to compare if you're comparing year to year. They talk about that, briefly. They talk about the strong U.S. dollar is going to create some foreign exchange headwinds, and I mean that does make a big difference if you're selling a bunch of product overseas.
Yeah,
they talk about that. They talked about they had an unprecedented number of new products to ramp up during the quarter, and they predicted supply constraints would gate some sales of certain products during Q1. They had a bunch of new products. I mean that's a true statement there. There was some economic weaknesses in some emerging markets, and of course that's something that's kind of outside their control to a certain degree, because you're dealing with a tech company and very expensive tech company. So emerging markets, it's a harder sale in those areas versus more established markets. But here's the challenges. They kind of go into some more detail what I talked about in the headlines. So, talking about with China. The China's economy began to slow in the second half of 2018. The government reported, GDP was the second lowest in the last 25 years. They state that here in the letter. So they sell a bunch of product in China. So with that economic slowdown, like it just, kind of choked off a lot of their business.
Yeah.
And they mentioned in here, the impending trade tensions with the U.S. being part of that. So they kind of, though some people have said, "Oh God, they're going off on Trump and they're going off on this," and I don't want to turn this into a political statement, but they do mention that tension that is there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's there.
So I mean, it's factual. It's news. It's truthful. It's not. You can spin it any way you want.
Yeah, it's the spin that makes it political. It's Look,
and
this is a real thing.
Yeah. So, that was part of it. And they believe, despite these challenges, we believe that our business in China has a bright future. They went on to say, they're talking about their developer community in China is one of the most innovative. So, I mean, they're trying to put a little spin on this, that this is not doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It just happened. And then talk about iPhone in particular, lower revenue on iPhone, particularly in China. Again, the whole, economic downturn in China. Let's see here. But they said here's an interesting fact. Categories outside of iPhone, like services, Mac, iPad, wearables, home accessories, those combined to grow almost 19% year over year. So if you take iPhone out,
yeah,
and
they've
look
got a
at look at
growing
the
business.
yes, just iPhone. So if you look at services, Mac, iPad, wearables, home accessories, that's the rest of their business. It grew 19% year over year. So you can see the significance of the iPhone.
So
here,
one thing I may have been reading something else that I didn't hear that I have heard that he had said part of the problem was repairs.
Yeah, and this doesn't talk about repairs, but I found an article that somebody's mentioned repairs. I'm like, I can't find that in this letter.
Well, I think he
and he may have stated like in an earnings call or in another, but not in this letter.
Yeah, it wasn't in the letter. It was something that he said.
I'm basing our discussion off this letter.
Gotcha. Well, part of what I want to,
but there has been some tension there between the Apple repairs and third-party repairs. We've mentioned that here on the show before.
And Apple's tried as best they can to shut all that down.
Yes, they have.
And I think now you're going to see some lawsuits because of that. It's like he said this was a problem for them, that our business was potentially damaging their bottom line because people weren't replacing their devices. Instead, they were fixing them, and they were doing anti-competitive practices to do that. And I'm curious to see how long it's going to take, because remember I sent y'all that article over the break, and I was like, wonder how long it's going to take for somebody to do a lawsuit against this.
Yeah,
I'm surprised there wasn't done one 5 minutes later.
But let me briefly. I want to go back to the iPhone here in a minute, but briefly they talked about some positive results in the December quarter. The install base of the active devices hit an all-time high, growing by more than 100 million units in 12 months. Like I said, but the 19% year over year if you take iPhone out. Services generated $10.8 billion in revenue during the quarter, growing to a new quarterly record in every geographic segment. And they're on track to achieve a goal of doubling the size of this business between 2016 and 2020. Wearables grew by more than 50% year over year, as Apple Watch and AirPods were wildly popular among holiday shoppers. They also expect to set all-time revenue records in several developed countries, including the United States, Canada, Germany, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, and Korea. And so I mean, there's a lot of positive here, but what took their lunch was China and iPhone.
Yeah.
And iPhone, I think in particular, I think iPhone's the bigger piece of this.
So do you think price point is the reason why?
I think price point is part of it. Yes.
Are they not innovating enough to warrant even changing a device?
Well, I'll say from my personal opinion, I've not, I've had this device about a little over a year.
Yeah.
And when the iPhone 10 came out and the 8, which is what I have, the 8 Plus,
yeah,
I was like, I don't want the 10. I don't want $1,000 phone.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Face ID. I like Touch ID.
I would rather have touch than face, to be honest.
Yeah. And this one suited the bill for me.
Yeah.
And now a year later, we had iPhone 10s, 10s Max, or whatever they call themselves. I guess it's 10s. 10s Plus Max.
I don't remember.
10s Max, 10s, and then the 10R.
Yeah.
All those, basically they've kind of Touch ID's gone from these new devices. You can still buy the 8, but I was like, I'm fine with my phone. It ticks all the boxes for me. It does the job I need it to do. I'm not in the market.
Yeah.
At this point, I would be content. I'm on the device payment with Apple.
Yeah.
And I did that intentionally because I thought maybe a year in, I'd want to trade this in and get a new phone, because you have that flexibility using the Apple.
Yeah, it's like it's
upgrade
not going
program.
to cost you anything extra.
But after I make 24 payments, then I bought
phone.
I own the device, and I see myself doing that. I'll probably keep this device beyond 2 years, unless they just do something wildly popular.
Yeah.
That I want in 2019.
So this is my thing. Whenever they first came out with that, I thought, man, that's a great idea. Like
talking about the face.
No. The trade-in program.
The trade-in program. I'm sorry.
Like that made total sense to me. Like,
yeah.
Basically, you pay for 12 months, or you pay for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, it's yours. But at the end of the year, which when they come out with a new phone, you can upgrade. Now, this is the problem I have. So they came out with a 10. That was the $1,000 price point phone.
It was $50-ish a month if you did a device payment for 24 months.
But it was their flagship, top of the end, top of the line phone.
Yes.
Now their new top of the line phone, it's going to cost you even more if you were to trade into that.
Yes.
It's like, look, you're not going to get an extra $15 out of me a month.
A month for
Yeah.
for a device.
Yeah, to get, essentially the same thing.
It's just newer.
It's just newer.
Yeah.
And that was my thing, is like, year over year, this phone, Google's flagship phone, is about the same price every year. The new one,
But they just continue innovating, but you're paying that same same price point.
relatively same price point. So, say if this costs me $45 a month, I would expect at the end of my year when I upgrade, I'm going to get a new phone. It's still going to cost me $45.
Yeah, around that, you'll turn that one in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not a whole. I don't expect $10 more. $5 would be my threshold. Like,
Right.
I can go up $5 more to get this new device. But if that keeps going up every year, like, that just does not make sense. Then that whole program seems like you've done a bait and switch on me.
They're counting on the fact that you'll upgrade and pay more, and we've got you hooked. But
yeah,
I think consumers are kind of catching on to that.
Well,
I think I think our perceptions here in the room, us two, I think there's a lot of consumers that have that feeling.
Yeah, they're like, look, you've nickeled and dimed me enough. You're not getting another penny out of me.
So they're plus the fact, and they talk about this in the article about, one reason, there's consumers that are trying to adapt to a world of fewer carrier subsidies.
Yeah.
Carrier subsidies are about gone.
Yeah, I would not buy a phone from a carrier. I don't know why you would.
Yeah, I think as the carrier I'm with, I've been with them long enough, I could switch back to a subsidized, but you pay more a month, so you're paying the same. It's just how you pay it.
Yeah.
So
they're able to control more on that phone.
Yeah. So I'm all about buy it straight from the manufacturer.
Yes.
And then you bring your own service with it.
And honestly, I haven't looked at LG phones in a while. Samsung phones are nice. I just don't like their OS, but I don't know why you wouldn't buy either an Apple phone or a Google phone. That would be the two. That would be it.
Yeah. But I think
in my mind,
I think they've hurt themselves this race to the top price wise, because they want to keep on growing the revenue because these companies are public companies, not just Apple, Samsung, all these others, Google, all these others. So they have to own up to they have to answer to the shareholders.
Yeah.
And the shareholders want continual growth year in and year out. So either to increase earnings per share.
Yeah.
It's a simple formula. You either got to increase revenue or decrease costs.
Yep.
And and they're getting to a point where it's harder and harder to decrease costs because they've got this stuff so efficient how they manufacture these things.
Yeah.
There's R&D costs they have to factor into, but that's pretty stable because the R&D resources, but where they're making the revenues, they keep jacking the price up. And I think consumers have said, hey, I'm not paying that much for a phone.
Yep.
I mean, this one retails like $700. I can't believe I'm paying that.
Yeah.
It's financed over 2 years, so I'm paying like 40 something bucks a month. But like $1,000, no, I'm not, unless I absolutely had to. I had no other choice. I would have to grin and do it. But I prefer not to.
Yeah. I will say this. So if you're going to spend, and I think this is where it's hurting Apple, how much is their top end phone now? Not completely
starting
maxed
at,
out. Yeah, but what is it? And that's the thing. They've got
$11.99 maybe. I'm trying to look while I'm talking, and I'm not doing a good job.
And they've got real big jumps on their storage too. Wasn't it like?
Oh yes.
There's like a 64 gig and then a 256 or something, right? Does that seem right?
I think you're on the track. I'm trying to get there. So like if you get the 10s Max,
which is their top end
6.5 inch, it's the largest screen of the 10s. Okay, I don't care about the carrier. I don't care about the finish. Just pick one. Okay.
Yeah.
The 64 gig starts at $1,099. It's $1,100.
Okay.
Then it jumps to 256,
which makes no sense.
$1,249. $1,249. So you jump, $150.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, $150.
So let's call it $1,200.
Okay.
I could see easily spending that on a laptop, a good laptop.
And then if you want to do 512, You're at 1449. So you're 1400. You can get a really good. You can get a really good
laptop.
You
for
can get. You can
$1,500.
get a. I think you can. The Surface. The Surface Books start about that.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you have a phone that you use every day.
Yeah.
A ton. You may not use your laptop every day.
Right.
Your phone, $1,500. I would expect a Surface Book to last me about 3 to 4 years.
That's fair.
But Apple's not expecting that phone to last you 3 or 4 years. They're expecting it to last you 2 max.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you are getting a lot more use out of it.
You're using it day in and day out, but it lasts me 2 years. Don't matter how often.
And I think that's what the market has decided. They said, I don't know if I can pay for that. That just doesn't make sense. That is beyond the top limit for me. I don't know. The more I think about it, I'm like $1,200 may be my max.
I know.
Yeah. Stay with us. More to come. Hey, Techie Show. Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show.
Yep. I'm glad to have you home with us.
Yeah. Somebody's not home.
No, Mikey's out on assignment.
Yeah, on assignment. CES. He's going to tell us his favorite thing that he saw. Which, I was going to come in with a different story. But one thing, I'll jump to something different.
Okay.
He may come back talking about is LG unveiling their 8K TV that doubles
8K?
88-inch 8K TV that doubles as a giant speaker.
Really?
Yeah. It's got a 3.2.2 sound system embedded directly into the display.
It's kind of like the big speakers that in Back to the Future that Marty McFly plugged his guitar into and overloaded them.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
From the opening scene of the first Back to the Future movie?
It'll be interesting.
And probably half our eyes like, what?
Yeah. So
it's an oldie where we come from.
And another thing that he may see out there is transparent LEDs coming. Those are rumored to be at
that could have a lot of utility.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I don't know.
Not in the home necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have it in my home.
And granted, it's a consumer electronics show, but yeah, I wouldn't personally. But I think in business, have a huge utility.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole the only thing that you hear about these, just like with the sound, I kind of got to be there to see it.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that I don't know how Amazon's gonna, like, how are they gonna do? Because right now we'll be honest, they survive on Best Buy. People go into Best Buy, see what because Best Buy carries higher end things.
Yeah, I do.
They get to compare it to the real thing in front of them, and then they decide, okay, yeah, I'll go check on this online, or they may buy it in the store. They're more likely to go back to their house, order and be there in a couple of days.
Yeah.
At a cheaper price.
Yeah.
But at least they get to go in and say, yeah, I see that. Like, okay, all right, I either like this or I don't. I have something to compare it to, basically.
Right. Exactly.
And, how are you going to do that because you can't say, well, listen to how this sounds. It's all going to be dependent on what you have there.
Right.
And also, how does this look? It's again going to be dependent upon what you have. And that's going to be hard so it's going to be interesting to see what Amazon, because they're going to have to do something in the future with that.
Yeah.
Unless it's purely they're just banking on people's reviews, say, oh man, this sounds great.
But sometimes when you're spending that kind of money,
yeah, you want to.
I'm not going to roll the dice on that.
No,
that's a huge investment.
And one of the great things too about shipping it back. Well, it's not cost me anything to ship it back. But you do that too many times, you get flagged.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how Amazon handles that in the future, because I can see that being a problem.
Oh yeah.
I think I've ordered, but it's not been for me. I've ordered TVs off of Amazon, but they've been for somebody else. It wasn't a purchase I made.
But if it depends on the price point. Like if I need a TV for my kitchen or maybe for my office where it's not my primary television.
It's not your primary entertainment source.
Correct. You may just be okay. I like Vizio or I like Samsung or whatever brand you.
$200 is fine for this.
Yeah, I might drop 200, but if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's not my primary entertainment display.
Yeah.
But you start getting these larger screens in 4K, 8K.
Yeah,
you're gonna be dropping some cash. You want to make sure you get the right one.
Well, I'll say 4K's come down really cheap. Like it's been.
Oh yeah,
the only reason why I haven't replaced any of the.
You get these large, huge displays. You're talking some money.
Yeah, I don't. In my old house, I may have had a place to put an 88-inch TV, but in my new house, I don't think I could get away with that.
Yeah, a lot of it then becomes viewing distances, because if you want an 88-inch TV and you're 4 feet away from it, I mean.
Well, when it's 4K or 8, if it's 8K, it's not like it was with 1080p.
Like, I know, but
you
still,
want it to be further away. Those pixels are going to be close together.
Yeah, but I don't want this. I don't want a huge screen right in my face.
Yeah. At that point, just get VR.
Exactly.
So. Zero rumors. I don't know. Maybe I do have a couple.
Yeah, Bruce is trying to tell me he has no rumors, but maybe he has.
I may have a couple.
He can start a couple.
Yeah, I can start a couple.
But I got one here. I got 1.5. One's kind of not whoopee doo, but this one's we're into 2019, and before we blink an eye, it'll be time for Apple to be announcing new iPhones. We just talked about iPhones earlier, but at least there's according to this article, at least one new iPhone released in 2019 will sport a USB-C port, a smaller notch, and the return of Touch ID under the display, according to Jean-Baptiste Sue, Vice President and Principal Analyst at consulting firm Atheron Research. They shared their prediction in a Forbes column about Apple lowering its revenue guidance for the first quarter of 2019. So it kind of ties back to what we talked about earlier. The quote here is, although we believe Apple will release a redesigned iPhone 10 in 2019 with a smaller notch, fingerprint reader, Touch ID under display, and a USB-C port, it will still lack the extensibility, talking about memory card, the battery life, the lightning fast charging capability, and the camera quality of Android flagship smartphones while being more expensive. Which this is early on, and Apple may have to figure out how to lower that price. And this is me talking now.
Yeah.
You know, but
who was talking the whole time before?
yeah, but USB-C, we've the iPad Pros now have it, so I think that's the next step for them this year. The Touch ID, that was rumored last year, and it didn't happen. I don't think they were quite there with the tech, but Touch ID under the display, that would be, if they would do that, then that would be it'd be a tick mark for me.
Yeah,
where maybe Face ID would still be there, but you have a choice.
Yeah.
And I would prefer Touch ID over Face ID personally. So if I could do both, and I could choose Touch ID, then okay, I'm good with that.
And there was a story about a researcher that had hacked the Face ID and last minute pulled out of the convention.
Oh.
And I've not heard enough about it to have brought it as a story to figure out maybe he was paid to keep his mouth shut.
May have been. I just think Face ID is just, I'm not a fan of it. The smaller notch could be plausible as the iPhone design the iPhone design continues to evolve. Apple will surely find ways to reduce the size of the notch, even if by a fraction of a millimeter. That's what the article's stating here. And I saw another article. I don't have it with me. Maybe I do have it right here. There was maybe some technology coming out they may be able to adopt where some of those sensors could be actually underneath the display.
Well, I want to say there's already been a company that's done it.
Yeah,
right?
and that way potentially the notch could be smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, this company, there's another article here.
Well, Samsung released their new phone with the pinhole?
Yeah, you think you're right there. But this company, Austrian Apple supplier AMS announced the launch of a new sensor technology that could be incorporated into future iPhones. It says the new light and proximity sensor could perhaps result in elimination of the bezel in its entirety. The RGB light and IR proximity sensor that's designed to be installed behind the smartphone's OLED display. So it'd be behind the display to where you wouldn't have to have that notch to where it has, there's no display in front of it.
I still think Apple is missing something so obvious, and I've said it over and over and over and over and over.
The Touch ID on the back.
On the Apple, man.
Yeah.
They could put a whole marketing campaign behind that.
Problem solved. Just touch the Apple. There's your Touch ID.
Yes. We're bringing you and Apple closer together.
I guess that didn't pass the what's that guy that's their chief designer? What's his name?
He's an idiot.
What's that guy's name? I can't think. I'm drawing
know.
a blank. Everybody's probably screaming at their radio.
Idiot von Idiot Man.
No.
And the whole reason why they don't do this because they're like, well, everybody else puts it back there. You have a logo right there that you could incorporate it in,
and it just in a lot of cases, like this case here, and this is not an Apple case.
Oh yeah, they're going to
they're
going to put it to showcase that Apple. And my wife has an Apple phone, and to unlock hers, I just feel so awkward holding it. Like I have to either hold it with two hands to unlock it, or I feel like I could just drop it. Whereas this, I have my phone, it's secure and touch.
One more quick Apple rumor.
Ergonomic.
One more quick Apple rumor. So Apple iOS 13 was spotted in analytics. Apple's already working on the next generation of iOS. Based on visits to the Mac Rumors website from Apple IP addresses on devices running iOS 13. Work on the update has been picking up over the course of the last few months. So Mac Rumors, this is a Mac Rumors article. They first spotted devices running iOS 13 in October, and in November, December, visits from iPhones with iOS 13 have increased. Visits slowed during late December, but should pick up again now that the holidays are over and work is continuing. Yeah. So you got the Apple engineers that have it on devices. They're actually going like MacRumors.com and they're picking up in their analytics. These sites have the analytics built in.
Man, Mac Rumors has been around for a long time.
It's a good site.
It is a good site. And if you're ever looking at buying a Mac product, definitely go to their buyer's guide.
Yes, I like their buyer's guide.
They have a great buyer's guide, and it's all backed by data.
Yes.
It's not, you can't always go buy it because Apple may go 1,000 days before they update something.
Well, like the Mac Mini.
Yeah. But they're like, look, traditionally they do it, this is how many days they go within this window.
This article goes on to also say that rumors have suggested iOS 13 will include new features aimed at iPad owners, such as a revamped Files app, in-app tabs for opening multiple windows of the same app, support for using the same app side by side in split view multitasking mode, and more. So, of course, there'll be more details. I mean, we're only in January here, so. And we'll probably get the first look at their Worldwide Developers Conference in June. That's usually when we get kind of the first hints, and they'll publicly start saying some new stuff to the developers. So what you got?
So rumor has it that Harley Davidson is going to release their first all electric motorcycle in August.
Oh,
price point is really high.
Like how high?
Like $30K.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's the typical price of a Harley? I haven't priced them lately.
Well, see, this Harley, I really don't know what it compares with their other Harley line.
Yeah.
You get some of those big boys. It's definitely in the $20,000-$30,000 price range.
But you're talking starting at 30, so it's probably like
it's $29,799.
30,000.
And that's I would, like you said, that's kind of where it's starting out.
That's where you add your chrome.
Yeah, or any accessories, and that's where.
I wonder if they're gonna have like some sort of speaker to give it the Harley sound as you drive.
See, I don't that
because I mean, people. I'm not a motorcyclist, but I know a lot of people who are, and part of it is, you want that distinctive sound.
Yeah.
Even some people intentionally will modify or use third-party aftermarket mufflers to modify.
Yeah.
The sound to make it more pronounced.
Well, there was,
that's it's just part of that hobby.
Yeah.
And I completely get it.
And I want to say it was Suzuki back in maybe in the 90s.
Yeah.
There's a lawsuit between Harley and Suzuki because Suzuki copied the Harley sound on one of their bikes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of course, they ended up just dropping it because they didn't have a patent on that, and it was no trademark of theirs, and
they're just trying to protect what they thought was their intellectual property,
something that identified like that's the
Harley sound.
That is the Harley sound. So, I don't know, but I will say this: it gets about 110 city miles on a single charge, 0 to 60 in under 3.5. Let's see. In a range of, I want to say the original prototype had a range of 55 miles. That doesn't make sense in economy mode. But this isn't the first electric bike, mind you.
Yeah.
Zero has Zero S model starting at just under 11. And then they've got their longer range Zero SR for around 16.5.
Yeah.
Which for most bikes, I would say, between 10 and 17 is about what you'd pay for a bike.
Okay. But for Harley entering this market, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal.
I don't follow that industry, but just that's a well-known brand.
Yeah, well-known brand. I just honestly don't know if this is, Harley's hurting. And I think this is maybe them saying, maybe this will save us. I don't know if the electric bike market, I definitely wish it would get bigger because I think there's some great things that could come
and part of it maybe is they're trying to grow a new customer base.
That is true, but I just don't know.
I don't have no data to back this. This is my gut instinct here. And I probably should try to do some research on this, but I'm thinking the younger generation are probably less apt to ride motorcycles versus older generation.
I would definitely agree with that.
And if your customer base is going off, they're not riding anymore because they get too old to ride or they're passing on, and you don't have new riders coming in behind them, and your customer base is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking.
Well,
which is not good for business.
Yeah, and I will say this: your customer base is not in the U.S. In the U.S., that this is a recreational vehicle.
Correct.
For most. It is not a primary vehicle. And in the U.S., it's a lot harder to have as a primary vehicle. Just the way our society operates. In a lot of countries, that is your primary vehicle.
Yes,
is some type of either motorcycle or scooter.
It's like I know I've been to Bermuda a few times. I've said that on the show. Like their residents of the island, they can have one 4-wheeled vehicle per household.
Yeah.
So if you have both both parents or both both spouses, they both work and not in the same location. I mean, the island's not that big; it's 30 miles in the end, but you can't walk it obviously, and they have public transportation. But if
Yeah.
you need your own transportation, that's what they do. They ride motorcycles.
Yep.
In a lot of other countries where it's tight on space, they probably from a economics or necessity, like Bermuda,
Yeah.
they use them.
Well, and a lot of
you have a family car, but then you also have a bike.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it's just matter of economics of being affordable.
Yeah.
A lot of other countries they can't even afford one car.
Right.
That's where a
Exactly.
motorcycle
just
becomes their primary.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I get where Harley's going with this, and at 100-mile range. I mean, for those using it to commute, you think about outside the country.
Yeah, but the thing is,
you're getting into that range. It's like how Tesla is getting into that sweet spot with the range. They're working on increasing.
I will say Harley's going to need to increase that range.
But
you're not going to go cruising 100 miles.
But for the recreational riders, then you start hitting a constraint because if you go out like a beautiful day like last Sunday was yesterday was beautiful.
A lot of people out on their bikes.
A lot of people out on their bikes. And if they spend the whole day on their bikes, I mean, they'll easily exceed that range. And they're done.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean they've got work to do, but I mean Tesla had a lot of work to do a couple years ago.
That is true. And if you look at the bike itself, it looks like there's just a ton of space there for battery. Because I mean that's basically what you're sitting on top of is a big battery,
just a big old motor.
Yeah,
motor and batteries.
And I just feel like because the weight ratio there compared to a car, like basically you're just propelling a person in a battery.
Yeah.
It's
fractions compared to a vehicle.
It seems like it should get better mileage than that.
But again, like I've said before, if battery technology continues to evolve like we hope it does, that'll become a non-issue for Harley. It'll become a non-issue for Tesla and others that build electric vehicles.
Well, and I feel like the $30,000 price point, it's doomed to fail right there.
Yeah, it's an early adopter price point right now because it's.
But the thing is, there's already companies that make electric motorcycles that get this type of range for half the cost.
But again, Harley is a premium brand. But
I don't know if I'd say premium.
Well, compared to some, I mean,
sure, I guess it is a recognizable brand.
There you go. I mean, it's not your Triumphs of the world. It's
your Ducatis and
I mean, I'm not a bike expert, but let you handle that. I know a friend that's got a Triumph.
Yeah, well, their big boys are expensive, and I mean you're basically buying a car when you buy some of those.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they get a lot of miles out of those.
And at least here in the States, it's probably a harder sale for financing if your credit's marginal on a bike, if you already have a car.
Yeah.
It's just like I know somebody who used to sell recreational vehicles, campers and RVs. And just because you can get financing to purchase like a car doesn't mean you can get finance. You'll get approved for financing to buy like a camper.
Yeah,
because that's considered a luxury item here in the States.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where I was going. Is this is more of a luxury item. Even though for a lot of people there's a lot of people that they have like an old truck or something. And they got their bike.
Yeah.
But they keep them for years, and that's what I'm curious about too. Is are these bikes going to have the same longevity?
Yes, it's a question.
Because you have people that have 30-year-old Harleys that still they work on them, and some of that's part of that is the love. They get to work on those things, and they keep them running. But and Honda Goldwings have the same type of following.
There's two separate camps there: the Goldwings and the Harleys.
Yeah, so I mean it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. They're going to have to make a lot of improvements before electric bikes become.
But again, it goes back to the battery technology in general. And this is everybody's a stakeholder. If you're making an electric car, Tesla, whomever, the battery technology you got to improve the range. So you got to be able to pack more power in the same space, same weight too. And you got to bring the price down. Because Tesla is yet to deliver that $30,000 Model 3.
Yeah, yeah.
They
you're
claim
right.
they can, but they haven't yet. They haven't got it down to that
They've
point
got
yet.
it down to 35, but they ain't got it down to 30.
But they claim $30,000.
Yeah,
But they're not there yet.
they're close.
They're getting there.
And one last rumor.
Okay.
Amazon will soon offer to deliver packages to your garage so they don't get stolen. I think this is a huge issue or becoming a huge issue for Amazon. Packages getting stolen.
Yeah.
A lot of them. It just seems to be that's what some people's part-time job is, to ride around and
there's been
look for packages.
During the Christmas season, I saw like one video of some person like just going after somebody that took it off their doorstep and basically ran them down.
Yeah.
Just yelling and screaming, dropping, profanities. And then there was another I shared with y'all about the person that basically set up they basically built a device.
Yeah.
And they pulled the top off and it shoots glitter everywhere.
And I'd heard all that was staged.
It may have been.
Because he was a NASA engineer.
He's an engineer at NASA, yes.
And I'd heard that ended up because he put cameras on it and all that, so he could record it.
Yeah,
the glitter bomb basically. But
there is a problem with people having packages stolen.
Yeah, there is definitely a problem. So in early 2019, Amazon will offer to deliver packages right into your garage. The company announced. They announced it today, apparently. So the service is called Key for Garage to join Amazon's Key for Home and Key for Car services. So much like it already works, I figured Key for Home, like you could just choose, I want it in my garage rather than you coming directly into my home. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works, especially with, like alarm systems and stuff.
Yeah, if you have an alarm that covers that area, then that could be.
Of course, I guess it would work the same way too that it would for your home when they had
they can bypass a zone or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it because I was like, I'm not letting them in my home. If they were just to put something in my garage, I think I'd feel a little bit better.
Yeah. I just wonder if the common carriers would be willing to do that. I mean, it'd probably cost more because them delivery drivers like UPS, FedEx, and the like, I mean, they own tight schedules.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
every step of their day is tracked. Every step.
Yeah, I was down at the UPS place.
At least with UPS, every step's tracked.
I was down there. I was waiting for a package that got misdelivered or something, and they were waiting on the driver. And the manager showed me on the computer. Yeah, he's down the street. He'll be here in about 5 minutes. And sure enough,
pulled right in.
Yeah.
They do. They know exactly how long they've stood somewhere. If they've talked to a customer, they know. It's interesting.
Big brother
UPS. Well, we got more to come. Wrap up the show. Stay with us. Hey, Techie Show. Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show, where it's just Bruce and Guru
dancing, not in the moonlight because we have lights on in the
Yeah.
studio, but it is dark outside. So we're about out of time.
We are about out of time.
Let's call you Michael. I'm sorry, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm sitting in Michael's spot.
You are sitting in Michael's spot. That's what threw me off.
I like
so,
this spot so much better.
I know me and you and Michael were chatting about this during the Christmas break.
Yeah.
Hope everybody enjoyed it. By the way, Chris, I hope everybody enjoyed our Christmas Eve show.
Yeah, I was missing the second hour.
Which you had to run out on us, but I wonder if I don't know if it replayed on New Year's Eve or not. I meant to tune in. I forgot. Anyway, this is something we talked about during the Christmas break. So Sears, we talked about Sears Holdings before.
Man. Yeah,
they had a deadline right there towards the end of the year. I think it was that last Friday, like the 28th December, where they were trying to find somebody to buy them. And like it was basically you had to put in bids and qualified bidders. Well, Chairman Eddie Lambert and his company ESL Holdings put a bid in for the company of $4.4 billion to buy and operate Sears stores.
I hope they took that. That seems like a way overvalued.
But there's a lot of debt.
And
buying some of the debt. So anyway, I'm trying to get down to this part. I actually read this, believe it or not. But they got that $4.4 million bid.
Billion.
4.4 billion, excuse me, with a B. But they entered Chapter 11 protection in October with 11.34 billion in debt.
Wonder how much bonuses they gave out to the CEO.
I don't know. There was some got approved
executive board,
but 68,000 jobs. But basically. This article is not the one I wanted, I don't think. But basically, from what I read, that the Sears board was not too happy with the bid because they wanted so much debt forgiven, and I don't think Sears is going to make it the next couple months.
Yeah, where's JCPenney at? Aren't they doing just as bad?
Penny's, yeah, we talked about that between us three. Penny's stock was trading for pennies at some point during the end of December, and they've burned through so much cash in the last couple of years that I think they've got a massive debt payment due this year, and it could get to a point where they just don't have the liquidity to make the debt payment and may have to go into Chapter 11 as well.
I want to say let's look over the last. I want to say it wasn't pennies, but it dropped below $1. And right now it's at $1.28. So I don't know. I think
here's the latest article. I need to drop this in our doc so it can get added. But he's unable. Eddie Lambert's bid $4.4 billion to save 50,000 jobs. It's not going too well. There's some disagreements over that bid. And Sears continues to inch towards liquidation. This was today from CNBC. Even while leaving Lambert room to have a last-minute about-face, Sears advisors this past Friday had told the bankruptcy judge it planned to announce liquidation on Monday. That'd be today. One of the people said by Sunday afternoon, Sears had decided it would give ESL, that's the company that Lambert owns, until Tuesday morning before coming to and announcing a conclusion. So
they better take it.
We're right here on the cusp of either they take this or Sears is done.
Yeah.
And I can remember as a child, you had the Sears catalog, and Sears, they this whole
they were big on appliances.
Yeah, but they started it was like a guy selling watches. And then it rolled into we started selling more stuff in the catalog, and then they went to retail stores in malls and in suburban areas, and it's become this. At one time, it was the nation's largest retailer.
At one point, it was your toilet paper too.
It's everything. You buy a house from Sears at one point.
Buy a house.
In the early 2000s, they discontinued the catalog, went to e-commerce, but they just didn't keep up.
Yeah,
and they
did not execute very well.
They got ran over. Not literally, but figuratively. And I hate it. It's so sad. And for those that work for the company,
oh yeah,
it's even I just feel for them. Let me end this on a little lighter note here. I know you had one. You want to do yours? I can save this one.
Sure. So
you got about 2 minutes.
Got 2 minutes to get this in.
I'll save this for next week. That's a tease for next week.
So Alexa's or Amazon's finally come out with a number of how many Alexa devices they have. And I think they said 100 million was how many.
100 million. 100 million things listening in your house.
Yep. Well, Google has countered that and boasts 1 billion assistant devices. So 10 times what
Wow.
Alexa's install base is. But let's talk about what that means. So, Amazon's talking about, I guess, their Echo, their Dot, their Fire TVs, tablets. Well, Google's include their phones, their Chromebooks, their watches, anywhere that Google Assistant can be, that is installed. So they have 1 billion
No, and I
installs
mean,
of that.
it's how you're counting it.
Yeah, it's how you're counting it.
Yeah.
So, not that Alexa's just down to the speakers, but that's still a lot for both. Even if you took, I wonder what Google's number would be if you just took phones and Chromebooks out.
Probably still be a large number.
Yeah. I wonder, can you do it on Chrome, the Chrome browser?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably the right
Sure you
plugin.
can.
If you have the right an extension.
I think at one point I had it enabled just to test it out. Or maybe they don't support it anymore. But at one point they did.
Y'all can
It
have
may not have been their
those. You
assistant.
can
It
have
may
those
have
little
just been
peeping things listening to your conversations.
Yeah, it maybe wasn't what
Not
was
I.
branded.
Not
It
I.
probably wasn't what was branded as their assistant at the time, and now it's the true assistant. With the AI and all that built in.
Yeah. Well, we have 15 seconds left.
15 seconds.
It's about time to wind her down. We pulled it off.
Yeah, first show of 2019 without Mikey. He's at CES.
Yep.
He's gonna have a lot of news about what came out at CES.
We're gonna turn
week.
the show floor,
Yeah,
the floor of our show over to him next week, because I know he'll have a lot.
He'll have a lot to talk about. All the stuff he saw.
That's right.
And how much money he won out in Vegas.
Everybody, I hope y'all have a fantastic evening.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Spear. President Trump plans to address the nation tomorrow night in what he calls a crisis along the U.S. border with Mexico.